it will be go beyond the core audit function as assessing the financial statement. While the primary responsibility of a certificate public accountant is to ensure that financial statements are accurate and compliant. So, as I mentioned, this service can be include the area as taxation advisor, compliance, IT consultant, and corporate finance. Can you imagine, okay, a company that undergoing a major restructuring and needs guidance on optimizing its tax strategy? They might be turned to their audit firm for the tax planning service to help them navigate tax compliance and maximize tax liabilities. So this type of tax service, okay, is the one of the example of NAS. Okay, and this is outside of the scope of the traditional financial audit. So the NAS is valuable, as I say, because they provide the organization with the expertise to tackle complex challenge, improve operations, and align with the best practice. However, okay, when the audit firm offer their service to their audit client, it raises questions about their independence. Remember the keyword independence? As we explore this further, and you will see why there are often regulatory restrictions on NAS, particularly when they are offered by an auditor to the same client. So this NAS service can help the client operate more effectively, and they are not part of traditional service. So this is why we need NAS nowadays. So what is the common type of this non-audit service? So non-audit service are any service other than statutory audit service and typically comprised as below. We have tax service, includes tax compliance, tax consulting, and tax planning. For an example, a company might engage an audit firm to help it complete with tax law, structuring transactions to reduce tax liability, or develop a strategy for the tax efficient operations. So tax planning and consulting are particularly valuable in industry with complex tax regulations and helps companies navigate the potential tax risk. So how about the information technology service? So this is include ID and others controllable. As we know, nowadays, technology plays a bigger role in operations. So IT service may include cybersecurity assessment, IT control review, or assistance with IT system implementation. So this is not only a surface on what technology you are using, but it's also to look into this IT advisory service on strengthen the cyber security infrastructures and protect against data breaches, which especially important sectors such as finance and healthcare. Okay, so next we have corporate finance related service. So in corporate finance, okay, NAS may cover the areas such as transaction support, due diligence, and valuations. So if the company considering an acquisitions might engage its auditor to conduct a finance due diligence, evaluating the potential target's access, liabilities, and overall financial health. So it might tutor in making information to the management decision. So this have to look into how the transaction supports the engagement to run in Not but last list, then all others audit relevant service, including consultations containing financial accounting, reporting standards, comfort letter, access service, concern assistance, with all the review documents filled with regulatory bodies, okay, international control review, forensics works, debt advisory, and also patient advisories are all also included. Similar, the internal control review to ensure that a company's financial reporting and operation controlling are robust. So from here, we can see that NAS provide a unique valuable helping the company address specific needs beyond the audit. And this is because they involve the advisory rules and they can sometimes conflict with the independent stand required by audit. So this is what's the common types that we have currently in non-audit service, which is very important for all of you to know the basic pictures on what kinds of non-audit service providing. Okay, now we come to the next. Why and what's the reason for organizations choose for this NAS service? Something special, right? Why we have to choose this? So, given a diverse nature of NAS, it's important to understand why organizations choose to engage the audit firm for this service. So we have access to specialized expertise. So it's provide the company to access to specialized skills that they might not have in-house, such as tax planning, regulatory compliance, or IT system. So they can implement new IT system, hiring an accounting firm from us to bring in much needed expertise. They don't need to have all this in-house. Okay, so they can be sources on that. Next, we will have the efficiency and convenience. So to engage the same firm for both audit and NAS is simplified process and communication. Since the auditor already ready familiar with the organization's operations and financial data, they can offer more seamless experience. This approach not only saves time, but the firm also no need to go through a length of onboarding process. So it makes it much easier to see that house is grow on. Okay, so here we come to next is cost saving. Okay, this is very important to all the organizations because of the cost saving. Okay, by consolidate service with one provider, companies can often negotiate discounts rate for a bundle of service. So looking to minimize the cost while getting the comprehensive support. Comprehensive support for decision making, easier for the transaction support given the company insight invaluable of decision making. So all this is also because of the compliance and risk management. Why we need this? Okay, is because this NAS play a very important roles in helping the organization manage the compliance and reduce the risk. For instance, NAS in the area like compliance training or internal control review, okay, they can able to ensure the company are follow the regulations and minimize the risk of non-compliance, which could lead to the financial penalties. So here is the 5 reasons that why the organizations have to choose for this non-auditing service. Okay, next we look on regulatory perspective on NAS. So the key regulating here, actually we have 3. Okay, one is this SOX that strict limitations on NAS to maintain the auditor independence. we have also international federations of accountants provide the guidance on us boundary for ethical compliance. We also have OJK, Financial Service Auditory Regulations in Indonesia. This OJK has also implement restrictions on nuts to align with these global standards. So in Indonesia, auditors are prohibited from offering nuts that could create conflicts of interest. So what's the OJK did? OJK provide guidance and guidelines, emphasize the importance of maintaining clear boundary between audit and non-audit service to ensure that financial statements remain unbiased and reliability. So we can see that all these regulations aims to provide, tries to prevent the conflicts of interest. So this is trying to help that all these auditor, okay, to protecting the auditor independence and maintain the public trust. This is very important. As a stakeholder or the investor, they will look on all those company financial statements before they doing on the investment. So this is very important to have all the clear-cut guidelines, avoid all the conflicts of interest, and emphasize to protect the auditor independence and maintain the public trust. Okay, benefit of NAS for the organization. As we say here, we have some. Okay, why? Is because of the specialization expertise, provide the skills area, increase the efficiency, streamline the process. This is very important. We have to streamline the process by consolidating the service under one provider. Because as an organization, if there's too many of the provider service come in, especially in the taxations, it may be confusing. So reduce the cost through bundle service and offer the insight aligned with the company financial and operation context. This is very important for all the organization because they need to have a standard and a compliance service so that the support regularity can reduce the risk of the penalty. Okay. So this NAS offers server service benefits to the organization, and that's why they have to be choosing on that particular. Okay. Here's a very important that risk of NAS for the organization. We think that why we have to choose because of the cost saving, because of the service, because of the effectiveness. But we also need to look into what is the risk of NAS for these organizations will face. Okay, so not only reduce on the country control, but the significance of risk that the organization also needs to be carefully considered. Okay, first is reduce the audit quality. One of the major concerns of this risk of NAS is when the auditor provide both service audit. NAS, it may be have to compromise the rigors and the objectively of their audit itself. Let's imagine a scenario, okay, where an auditor provides a consultant on a financial report system and they also audit at the same system, which means I provide you a service on this consultant, the financial reporting system, but also the same person who audit the financial system. So because they are involving and design or advising on the system, they might be less to consider and criticize their own work or point out of the potential flaw. If I'm the one who design, I won't simply to critique the system that I did. So it will have the conflicts of interest. At the same time, we can see that by offering both audit and advisory service, auditor may face the situations where they objectively is questioned. So if auditing, let's look at this situation. If an auditing firm is deeply involved in tax planning for a client, later review the client tax related account during an audit, these are conflicts between a role of advisor who suggests strategy and the role of an auditor who must objectively assess the implementation of those strategies. So this is one of the important risks that NAS will be faced for organization. Okay, conflicts of interest is particularly concerning because they can lead the ethical dilemmas. If the auditor are taxed with the providing objective assessment, but they also incentively by their consulting rules, they might be providing maintaining a positive client relation over delivering a critical and fair audit report. Okay, so another risk is the regulatory risk and compliance challenge. So we can see that in a real world example of regulatory risk occurred when a large audit firm in US faced a security for providing extensive NAS to an audit client, leading to conflicts that eventually results in a regulatory overhauls like the Oxley Act. So in Indonesia, the auditors must be follow the OJK rules that restrict certainly type of nuts. If we failures to comply with this guideline, can attract regulatory penalties, damaging both of the clients and the auditor firm reputation. So this is the regulatory risk that can impact the organization overall risk profile. Can you see it? So that will be have some protection and indications from a stakeholder. So maintaining compliance with regulatory limits of nuts. Okay, Curricle is not only legal protection but also protecting the public trust in the audits impartially. Okay, so next but not least is we also spurly to manage the NAS can compromise audit quality and create the ethical concern. So we can see that NAS can introduce the ethical challenge, especially when they are blurred in the line between independent auditing and also advisory service. Ethical standards require auditors to be objective, impartially, and free from conflicts of interest. However, when the auditors provide NAS, then there is a risk that these standards may be compromised. So, to perceptions of compromised audits can affect share price, investor confidence, okay, and even the market reputation. As we mentioned that we have to compromise that the public trust for organization. So the ethical issues stemming from NAS engagement can also lead the internal dilemmas of for the auditors where they may feel pressure and align with client interest over the independent assessment. Maintaining clear ethical boundary is essential to prevent this issue to ensuring that NAS does not compromise the audit credibility. So from here, I would like to put a little bit short summary that while NAS provides a variable support, it also introduce risks that can undermine audit quality, create conflicts of interest, post-regulatory challenge and raise the ethical concern. So in these situations, we will try to discuss the strategy that the organizations can be mitigate this risk to ensure they reap the benefit of now while maintaining the ethical and regulatory compliance. So NAS in the contents of organizations governance, okay, supporting the governance function. They can provide the expertise, okay, that strangers governments such as the compliance, advisory, and risk management support. They also able to help the organization align the operations with regulatory standards and best practice. Okay, so we can see that this approach may be helps the organizations mitigate risk before they escalate and support the governance function by reinforcing the oversight. Okay, so risk to accountability and oversight. So nuts maybe blur the line between advisory and auditing rules, which can compliance the accountability. So in these situations when the auditor also act as advisor, it complicates their oversight rule, especially if they must assess the impact of their own recommendations. Okay, so these dual rules can make it difficult for organizations to hold the auditors accountable for unbiased assessment, potentially compromising the quality of oversight. Okay. Importance of clear the boundary. Okay. Establish boundary to ensure not be interference with the independence oversight rule of auditor. To avoid this issue, we have to establish this clear boundary between audit and non-audit service is essential. Okay, so to maintaining auditor independence is a crucial for unbiased government and public trust, and we also to this to protect the auditor independence, maintain the integrity of governance process, and unlimited safeguard public trust. So while NICE can provide this positively contributed to governance by all these provide specialization support, organizations must carefully manage this service to avoid conflicts that could impact their objective oversight. Okay. So NAS and organization reputations, as we mentioned that the importance is to build the public trust for the organizations to attract the investment from the stakeholder. So how they going to reputations boost is provide the positive impact on the reputation. So NAS will streamline and the operations and brings the top-notch skills so that NAS can boost an organization reputation by demonstrating a commitment, effective compliance, and expert guidance. So expert support from NAS will enhance the organization operational capability, makes it more reliable and efficiency. So it's such that the areas compliance and risk management make the organization appear reliable. Okay. So for the reputation risk of NAS, okay, the receptions of buyers when an auditor and also a consultant is raised a questions about independence. So one of the main concern is the potential for predicts conflicts of interest, especially if an audit firm is seen to closely provide with a client's operations to advisory rules. Okay, so this could be underlying trust, and it also may appear that auditor is unable to critique its own advisory works objectively. So in these highly publicitated cases, the receptions of buyers has leads to significant reputations damage for the company and their audit firm. So we have to look in this trust statistics. It's very important that to appears to compromise the objectively in audits. Okay, balancing act is to navigate these potential risks. Organizations need to maintain a careful balance. So be transparent and follow ethics is very important so that they can minimize the reputation risk and upholding the public trust. So strategy for managing NAS in an organization, we have to have established clear policy, independent review, rotations of service, balance is key. Okay, here I want to put it a very important in the rotations of service. We need to ensure that the auditor is not playing the rules of auditor, but they also in the designing, they have to rotate. So this rotating will provide a trustability to the public and also bring independence and provide over familiarity and maintain the objection. Okay, when the auditor become a heavily involved, okay, in a advisory service, it may be create a conflict of interest in their independency. But if in a such way we taking a rotations, the auditor maybe highlight the flaw in the system they can help to develop and also compromise the integrity of the audit. This will be pervasive lacks of objectivity that can undermine the stakeholders' confidence in the audit. So this will be helps to find a right balance by setting this guideline. Organizations can maintain, okay, the independence while still benefit from a productivity collaborations relationship with their auditor as well. So emerging trend in NAS, we will look into the clear policy. Okay, we will look into the clear policies. And here I would like to mention about the data analytical visualizations and also the AI situation. So as a business leaderships involved, so this type provide by the emerging trend in this NAS. Okay, so digital consulting and IT advisory. This is very important because now auditors have to offer the service such as cybersecurity assessment, data protection consulting, and digital infrastructure support. For example, as organizations adopt a new technology, they may consult with auditors on implementing robust the cybersecurity measure to protect against the data breach. So it will be out of hacker and reduce the risk on this cybersecurity. AI and data analysis. Okay, another growing trend is to use of AI and data analysis in this non-audit service. Okay, audit firms are leveraging the data analytics to provide more in-depth insight from a customer behavior analysis to predict the financial modeling. This use of technologies not only support the decision making, but allows organizations to optimize their process. AI driven is especially useful in the area like fraud detections, where the auditor can identify, protect risk through advanced analytics, we can avoid those spam and all those kinds of things that will be happen in the organization. And also sustainability and ENG reporting. The ENG we call environmental, social, and governance report is become increasing important. Okay, many of the organizations are seeking this NUTS to help them measure and report on their sustainability practice. For example, audit firm may provide ESG, okay, consultant to help the organizations understand and improve their environmental impact. This trend reflects a shift into the corporate uh, priorities as the company aim to meet the rising of expectations for sustainability. So these emerging trends highlight the expanding role of NUTS in the addressing modern business challenge. All these service evolved regulations will likely adapt to ensure that this new form of NUTS do not compromise the auditor independence. So this is very important that nowadays we use all these AI drivens, okay, and data analytics to predict on all these situations. Recommendations for effective NUTS management. So first, I will very enhance on providing ethical, highlighting this ethic, okay, uphold a strong ethical standard in all NUTS engagement. Like in Malaysia, we follow the OJK guidelines and standard. Ensure the compliance, regularly check the NUTS practice against the regulatory requirement, set clear limits, define the boundary on NUTS to protect the auditor independence and maintain transparency. Okay. This is to disclose NUTS to provide to clients to build trust and public confidence. Okay. By implementing these recommendations, organizations can effectively manage NUTS, enjoying the benefits of this service while upholding the independency and the public trust. This also will be increase the organization representative, okay, reputations to the market so that to attract more investment and comes over. So NUTS management playing a very important role to provide reinforcing confidence in the organization's commitment to the ethical standard. Well, come to the end of the day. For me today, to conclude that this non-audit service offer a valuable support to the organization, provide specialized expertise, enhancing efficiency and aiding in the compliance. So to effectively manage NUTS, organizations must priorities, ethics, set a clear boundary, ensure the compliance, and maintain transparency. So be carefully balance these factors. We can harness the benefit of NUTS while safeguarding the integrity of the auditing process. So prioritizing ethics, setting clear boundary, ensure the compliance, and maintaining the transparency, organizations can benefit the NUTS without compromising the integrity of the auditing process. This balanced approach helps safeguard public trust and preserve the reputations of both organizations and its auditor. So thank you for all of you attention today. I hope these presentations have provided you with a valuable insight into the challenge and associated with this non-audit service. Thank you very much, and I'm open to the floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Dr. Kanwan Hui for a very interesting materials of today's topic, non-prohibited audit services. And then, oh wow, in the chat book is quiet. interesting too. Impatient to ask to our respectable speakers here, but I'm so sorry, Dr. Krishnan, because we are conducted this seminar both in Zoom and also in the YouTube. Maybe the YouTube participant cannot read and participate in the chat box. So may I read what is the question in listed in the chat box?
Okay. I've gone through
Okay.
the chat box. Let me answer one by one, yeah. And I've also posted some information related to the legal law in terms of if you can post that in the YouTube, you can look at it. Okay. The first questions that I got it, if I in the chat box, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. One of the participants asked how the artificial intelligence that they used in the New Zealand as well as Indonesia. I can explain the use of AI in auditing from the experience of me in Malaysia and New Zealand, but I'm sure in Indonesia. So there's the two part here. One is artificial intelligence using in conducting the audit functions. There's another part is artificial intelligence using the detecting the non-audit service. So I'll answer on the both side as well. Okay. Um, the artificial intelligence used in the audit service, yeah. You can use the artificial intelligence to analyze the data set from the public as well as the private entities, yeah. In terms of the data analytics and pattern recognitions as well. As an auditor, you can use artificial intelligence to analyze the data to see whether there is any frauds, whether any inefficiencies, and in terms of that. The other application of artificial intelligence in Malaysia, especially myself as an audit firm, I use a risk assessment as well. I use RT because you are auditing 1 year transactions, you see. So maybe your human eye may not be detecting the high risk transactions here. So you use the artificial intelligence to detect the high risk transaction by looking into the historical data, by looking into the financial irregularities, so you can use the artificial because most of the accounting data are now kept in the computerized systems, so you can use the artificial intelligence to go detect any expenditure that beyond the company's revenues and all these things, so you can detect the kind of financial irregularities. Artificial intelligence also used very extensively in terms of the fraud detections, to find out that is there any transactions that the company has done not within the corporate governance, so there's a lot of artificial intelligence tools available in terms of the audit functions. Now, the artificial intelligence in terms of the detecting the non-audit service, I know one of the country, whether it's implemented or not implemented, um, they actually use the artificial intelligence to read the audit report to find out the whether the audit report has any non audit service. The government use the artificial intelligence to analyze the audit report to find out whether there's any non-audit service, because by knowingly or unknowingly the auditor might mistakenly report some kind of the non-audit service. They may not specifically explain that it's non-audit service, but they may put it in somewhere in the write-ups, or the financial statements can be detected whether there's any non-audit service. So they can use the artificial intelligence to use that as well. Beside that, I've given you the what you call the laws and regulations in Malaysia as well as in Indonesia. I noticed that in a chat group, someone said that they want to do a research with me. By all means, that you can do a joint research with me and my colleague, Dr. Wen Hui. We can actually apply for grants and all these things. Okay. In Indonesia, you have law number 521, which is public accountants, that covers on the artificial intelligence as well as the accounting standards as well. which is the Indonesian Institute of Certified Public Accountants. But I can talk from the point of Malaysia. Malaysia has a Company Act 2016 and Security Commissions Act, Bursa Malaysia Listing Requirement, and Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commissions Act 2009. And we also have the MCC, which is Malaysian Code of Conduct Practice, which is initially issued in 2017 and now this upgraded in 2021, where in Malaysian, if you go into the Bursa Saham Malaysia, if you go under the Bursa Saham Malaysia, you can find MCC, Malaysian Code of Conduct Practice, where they have the updated version 2021, which is specifically regulated what is allowable, what is not allowable. Okay, and I noticed another very interesting question asked by the one of the candidates. What are the factors that influence the what you call the non-audit service in the regulatory? Um, to my knowledge, there are many factors. But let me, before I go to factors, let me answer some of the question. Deloitte. Deloitte is one of the accounting firm that actually prohibited non-audit service. I've given in the chat box what is the reason why Deloitte actually it's not just in India, it's not just in Singapore. Deloitte's the whole over the world. They actually avoid using the non-audit service for public interest. But the reason is to protect auditors' independence, to align with the regulatory trends, to enhance the public investor confidence, to mitigate reputational risk, and also to industry leadership standing. I've given you the answer in the chat box. But I would like to answer this one question, interesting questions by one of the participants. Very good questions, and in fact, this is can be done as a research area for non-audit service. Yeah. What are the factors that affect the statutory regulations? I have my notes. Let me look at my notes here. One of it is the legal and regulatory framework. Number one, legal and regulatory framework. See, some country has a very robust legal system. Some country has a stricter regulation to ensure the auditor independence and transparency. Especially if you notice that US, they have Sarbanes-Oxley Act, where it prevent the auditor provide the certain non-audit service to the client to avoid conflict of interest. So it depends from country to country. Some country have very strict regulation. Some country do not have a strict regulation. Like in Malaysia, we do not have a strict regulation in that because we want to balance between audit service and non-audit service. Okay. And also it's depend on the economic development and market maturity. So there's a difference between a developed country and developing country. A developed country, they have more matured financial market. They prioritize investors' confidence. They are more matured in terms of the market. They prioritize investors' confidence. Compared to a developing country, they are more flexibility in terms of the economic growth and professional service development, because they want to have a trade-off between promoting the economic activity and ensuring an independence. Take note what I say. They want to promote a trade-off between the economic activity and the ensuring the independence. So again, that can be another factor. The other factor that could consider that why some regulatory are strict, some regulatory are not strict, is depend on the public interest and the investors' confidence. The developed country, they have more stricter, so they have the investor confidence very high, whereas compared to the developing country, so it is the public interest entities, that is the public interest investors. If you notice the corporate scandals like Enron, World.com, in Malaysia, that we have few companies which is corporate scandals. The more corporate scandals they have in the country, the more stricter rules they come out with it to protect the public interest and investors' confidence. And the other one is, of course, the culture and profession norms. Some ethical profession standards in the country accounting, they influenced by the culture and profession norms. I do not want to name the country here because this session is recorded, but I do notice that one of my colleagues in the country that is operating an accounting firm, he is free to provide non-audit service as well as audit service. and is making a huge money out of it. Non-audit service as well audit service. But when I asked him how you are so flexible providing, because he say the authority in this particular place is very flexible, reluctant. I can't do that in Malaysia, and I don't think so neither that you can do in Indonesia as well. So it's depend from country to country in terms of the culture and profession norms. Some culture is allow it, some culture do not. So it goes back again the code of conduct practice that we apply in each country. And of course, the last one is the influence of the global standards, yeah. Factors that influence the global standard, such as the IFRS, the ISA, because we are talking about harmonization of global standard. Harmonization of global standard, we want to be aligned with the global standard. You have all this, what you call accreditation, like ISO accreditation and all these things, that making sure that the non-audit service is to be acceptable, reasonable, what you call the acceptance. So it is all depend on the independence, integrity, and as well as the objectivity of the auditors. Okay? So that's all I saw in the chat box. I presume that I have answered all the questions in the chat box. I don't mind to send over to the Novita or Ika. You give me your email address. I don't mind to send my notes and what's my PowerPoint slide. Same with my colleague, Dr. Wen Hui. And I have some notes, extra notes as well. I don't mind to send it over as well. Is there any other questions, Ika?
Okay, participant here who are joining in Zoom, any other question to Dr. Krishnan or to Dr. Hui? Doctor, sorry, is it acceptable to ask question in Bahasa or it has to be all in English?
Bahasa pun boleh, kita boleh bercakap dalam bahasa Malaysia, tapi sama ada saya faham ke tak faham, nanti use AI to translate lah. Boleh juga, boleh.
Bahasa Malaysia in Malaysia and Bahasa Melayu in Indonesia, we have a little bit different. But
Yes.
More or less that we can understand. Saya pun boleh faham dan bercakap dalam Bahasa Melayu. Tak ada masalah.
Don't ask,
Yay.
jangan suruh kita bernyanyi sudahlah.
Dr. Anda, I know you can make it.
Okay. Any other question from the participants here? Is it it's okay in bahasa? Ayo boleh silahkan in bahasa. I will translate it, or in English is also okay.
You can ask me
Any other question?
why I'm look botak. Too much of non-financial service.
No, it's because you want to look more handsome and professional.
Any more questions? I've given my email address, and I've also, my colleague also have given email address and phone number. By all means, please, you may not have a question now, so you have any question by email to us, we'll free to answer. Number two, I'm looking for a researcher. I want to do a comparison study between Malaysia dengan Indonesia in terms of applications of the non-audit service. There's something which is I'm also looking into it. So if you are interested to do a joint research dengan saya, by all means, please email me. I'll include my colleague, Dr. Wen Hui as well, and I'll include colleague from University Terbuka, so we can do a joint research on that. Okay.
Wow, what interesting chance for us. Okay, no further question, but I have one question to both of you, Dr. Krishnan and also Dr. Hui. Do you have any experience getting a threat while carrying your duty as an auditor independence? And how you respond to it to stay safe and also stay upholding code of conduct. Thank you.
Well, I have few experience. As I mentioned to you, I have my own audit firm that is I'm a chartered accountant, CPA Australia. and I'm a certified public accountant of Malaysia as well. Threat, yes, I've received that threat. To be honest with you, I received a letter by threat as well, where we're not providing consultancy. See what happened, I can openly tell you, but I will not tell you what is the company name and all these things. One particular company, I noted that they misuse the depreciations method. So they use a depreciation methods, different depreciation method to calculate to actually to reduce their profit and all those things. Yeah, it's a very straightforward. I know that yeah they are using a wrong depreciation method. Once they use a straight line method, another one they use a reducing balance method. So in that case, I have two options. One option, I tell from the audit point of view that you need to have a proper, you're not allowed to change your depreciation. I don't know about Indonesia, but in Malaysia, you're not allowed to change the depreciation method every 6 months, for the favor of the company. You're not allowed to do that. But this particular company, they use it and they want me to approve it and don't mention in the audit report. So they asked me to give advice on that also, how to do it. Well, I gave them advice. I say this is what you're supposed to follow, this is what you're supposed to do, and I didn't go further of advising them. And finally, as auditor, I have to report that objectively in my audit report, so that the investors take note. Immediately after the annual report is released, 2 months later, I received a letter threatening that be careful when you do audit, your life is threatening. So I didn't notice that the letter, it's an open letter, was put it into my post box. Um, well, I don't know which company and all those things. Life has to move on, lah. If life has to go on, you cannot be afraid sitting in the room crying one side. You cannot be doing that. You just have to go on. If people want to shoot you, let them shoot you. What to do? I'm still alive. I'm still talking to you. I presented last year. I'm presenting this year. And feel free to call me next year. I will also present to you. As long as I'm doing my job ethically, and I only have to be afraid of one person, the God. The God is seeing you what you're doing. Let it be in a professional work, let it be in a family work. So as long as and that particular company, whether they send me a letter or they didn't send me a letter, I do not know, but they're still with me. They're still with me. They're still with me. They did not pull back. They're still with me. So what I did, I gone beyond of recommending that company to another colleague of mine, accountant, who giving non-audit service. They are quite happy with me now. So I have two people. One is I'm doing audit service. I have another colleague of my friend is giving non-audit service. So I given to them. So this is how the world is going on now. Okay. Um, have I answered your question, Ika?
Okay. Wow. Listen to your experience. I just cannot imagine while our auditor, and then I receive threat letters. Wow, what should I do? Okay, and then
Don't do
just
anything. Don't do anything. Frame it, put it in the room.
okay. Believe that we will be okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the initial stage, after I graduate, I can work in an audit firm. I work in a big four audit firm after the graduate. I graduated from New Zealand. I worked in a big audit firm. It gave me a very good experience actually. But after a while, when I opened my own audit firms, that I get to know more of these things. So you just play around. You must know. You see, the most important aspect, I did not tell you this. If you have next session, I can run negotiation skills for auditors. Negotiation skills for auditors. You must know how to talk, when to talk, what to talk. These three things. How to talk, when to talk, what to talk. It's very important important negotiation skills. So, Ika and Novita, if you want me to run another sessions for you, next year or sometime this year, negotiation skills for auditors, I can do that as well. So you must know how to play around with the words, lah.
Wow. um, Organizing committee, maybe we have to put the note about this offering. Okay. Any other question maybe from participants here? We still have uh, enough time to ask some questions to Dr. Hui. Perhaps Dr. Hui can give
Why
how.
don't some of you, I think some of you are instructor here, lecturer here, why don't you share your experience as a non-audit service? Some of you, I think you have your lecturer there, right? Attending these sessions. Is there anybody? So why don't you share so that we can learn from you as well? We share most
Yes,
of it.
agree.
Most of
So
it.
we can note more of that because Dr. Anbar Lagan has already shared a lot of experience on that. So maybe we can hear of that because based on experience wise, there's more similar less. And currently, I'm more switched in management. I will look into how's organization needed and what they are looking on the reputations, their public trust, and all the investment on the managing on that. Perhaps maybe from you guys we can do some sharings over here and we can learn more about that.
Anybody?
Ute lecturer, you have a chance to discuss.
Maybe we can say in we try to be some collaborations in between Unite and University Terbuka Indonesia with us, so that also as Dr. Anbas says that we look for since any collaborations, potentials, grants or research we can do it together. So maybe it's the opportunity us here to voice up your ideas and sharing to benefit our audience.
It's okay if you don't want to share, doesn't matter. We don't want to force you all. Of course, you have my email address, my handphone number. If you're shy, I'm not shy. I'm used to it to talk like this. You can always email us or send a text message. You all use WhatsApp, right? Indonesia? Yeah, Novita connected me through WhatsApp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of all Indonesians were using WhatsApp for
Yeah.
communicate with others.
Yeah, I went to China. They don't use WhatsApp. They only use a WeChat. So it's a issue of what the country is. Yeah. All right. If you don't have any questions, always feel free to email me or send a WhatsApp message. I'm happy to answer. Yeah. Ika, over to
Uh,
you.
is it okay to mention your email verbally here in
Yeah,
Zoom?
yeah. Please,
Yeah, we
please.
share in the text.
Yeah, I
Both of
think
us already share in the
yes.
text.
If Professor Ambelkan and Dr. Kan Wenhui already sent the contact information in the chat box.
Yeah, chat box only. So the YouTube participant cannot contact them.
Yeah, I can
Maybe
give
you
you.
also can share in the YouTube comment link over there so that if they are needed, they can come over to us.
I cannot give you my house address. I can give
No,
you my
no,
house
no.
address. I can give my house address. If you don't, feel free to come to Malaysia. I'm just staying nearby KLIA. Contact me if you're coming to Malaysia, and of course, I'm willing to.
I'm in Penang. If you want to taste all the Penang foods, just come over to Malaysia and look for
Thank
me
you
in
very
Penang.
much for the offering. We'll be contacting both of you if we are all here in Malaysia.
University Terbuka located
And also I
where?
have applied to Malaysia. I don't know why.
Uni-
Sorry?
University Terbuka located where in Indonesia?
Yes, we are in Indonesia. We are for the office in Pondok Cabe. It's called Sot Tangerang, but we have like 39 region in Indonesia.
Okay, Ronnie, you have
So
raised hand.
sorry.
Ronnie have raised hand. He has something to ask.
Yeah, we have Ronnie raising his hand. Okay, Ronnie, would you please open your mic? Or IT team, please help Ronnie to open his mic. Okay,
What is
Ronnie.
what is apakah ada absentnya? What does it mean?
Like
Somebody.
presence, like a form for presence here. Like maybe for the certificate later on.
Oh,
So we will think of it after this.
No, I have one chat box. Apakah ada absentnya? What is it?
Yes,
oh, yeah, that's presence form. The attendance list, attendance form. Okay, attendance form will be sent through chat box or WA. WA, I think.
chat
But
chat
yeah.
box. Chat box.
Okay. You will get the link, G form link in the chat box after this. Because okay, if there is no other question, Ronnie Dwi, who is this? Ronnie Dwi Arya. Ronnie Dwi Arianto SH.
Or you want to say bye bye? Hi, hi. I also raise my hand. Hi.
Okay, perhaps the IT team can help us with uh, giving certificate of appreciation to our both respectable speakers here. IT team, are you ready? Okay.
Thank you for the certificate. Really appreciate that.
And then next certificate for Dr. Hui.
Okay.
Would you be sending the certificate over the email or the hard copy? Would you be sending if you give us the home address? Would you be sending that?
Okay, Mbak Novita, maybe you can.
Yeah,
I
perhaps if can,
think we
please
will
send
send
us this
certificate from.
send us e-soft copy so that we can keep it.
Yes, of course, of course.
Thank
So I
you
will
very
send it
much.
to you, or your WhatsApp, and also we will send it to email from email.
And
So we will
later
Fantastic.
I
send it.
also will share my slides to you all so that you can have it. And if they are
Sure.
request and need it, so you can have it.
Yay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
No, I'm
you.
very happy to have this section so that I can share some insight on my point of view so that it's benefit to everyone.
Sure. So maybe like we will have that sharing from the slide, and we will learning more, and we will find something to the research for to collaborate together for the research for the next research. It will be amazing.
Yes, of course. I believe that.
Okay. For the participants, don't forget to subscribe YouTube channel of FEB UT. That is just with the keyword FEB UT. You can find this. You can find it there. And then don't forget also to follow IG of FEB.Univ Terbuka for the IG of Business and Economic Faculty of Universitas Terbuka, and then one account at akuntansi underscore FAUT. Don't forget to follow that because why in the social medias we will IT team, I mean not me, will always update what the upcoming events and what the upcoming classes, and also important um, updates from UT, of course. And then, okay, is the attendance G form has been sent in the chat box? Not yet. Okay.
Not
Okay.
yet.
I will
Not yet.
contact it to our team first.
Okay.
I will contact it to our team first. I think just if it's that's already coming up. So it's already in the chat box, so everyone here can fill the form for the attendance.
Don't forget to fill out and submit the G form before leaving this room, ya, Mbak Novita, ya? Or is
Yes,
it okay? Before leaving
yes,
this room.
right. So don't forget everyone who joined for the webinar today. So don't forget to fill out the attendance form that already in the chat box.
Great. Thank you so much for the Ibu. Who's the head of department name? Ibu what?
Yeah.
I think just close it, Miss Eka.
Oh, okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this insightful seminar, we have all of you gain valuable knowledge and also enrich and enlighten us the limitation of the non audit services from our distinguished speakers. And then thank you uh, for joining us here. And it's very honor. It's an honor for me to be a MC and also a moderator here for today's international lecturing. And on behalf of the organizing committee, we extend our deepest gratitude to all of our speakers, Professor, Associate Professor Dr. Ambalakan Krishnan, and also Dr. Dr. Kanwan Hui. Okay, so don't forget to follow the social media of MPBUT, and don't forget to fill out and submit the attendance form by filling and submitting the G form that have been sent in the chat box. And then see you in the next e-lecturing 2025.1. This international lecturing will be held every semester, so please again be updated by following FEB UT and akuntansi UT social media, and stay inspired. Last but not least, I will cite a well-known quote from Warren Buffett: "The best investment you can make is an investment in yourself." So the more we learn, the more we earn. Okay, stay inspired, keep learning, and Universitas Terbuka will make higher education to all. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody.
Thank you,
Bye
everyone.
bye.
Have a
Bye
nice
bye.
day. Bye.
Dr. Ambalaga, and also Miss
Thank you,
Kanwei, thank you very
everyone.
much for
Have a
joining
nice
us,
day.
and thank you
Thank
for
you.
your
Thank you.
incredible knowledge for us.
Bye
See
bye.
you again.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Oke, selesai Mbak Novita. Ini saya langsung live aja atau perlu
Ya,
ini ya?
nggak apa-apa, langsung live aja.
Isi
Boleh. Nggak apa-apa.
isi ini juga nggak sih saya attendance?
Nanti ada. Nanti tetap dapat kok sertifikatnya. Nanti kita bikinin, nanti kita kasih tahu sama tim IT kita ya.
Oh ya, ini
Nanti saya
attendance.
kasih tahu sama Mas Diki juga.
Oke. Oke.
Karena Mas
Udah.
Diki yang arrange. Ya, terima
Oke.
kasih ya Mbak ya,
Makasih
udah
banyak.
kita.
Oke, Mbak.
Iya,
Om Teh.
terima kasih banyak.
Bye. Saya ya,
Terima
izin ya.
kasih.
Sama-sama dengan senang
Iya,
hati.
terima kasih.
Bye.
Iya, terima kasih.
Bye.